Thank you, Bhubadi. I hope I am audible to everyone, and I am just sharing my screen now. So, good evening to you all. I am Father James, living in England, London. I will be dealing with the topic England from an Indian perspective, and just a small introduction about myself. Already Professor Bhubadi had already spoken about me. I have done my MA Theology and Philosophy in Pune and BA in English Literature in Palayamgatte St. Saviour's College in Tirunelveli, along with Professor Bhubadi. He has given me this opportunity. I am also a Yoga Acharya. It is not part of our business, still it may come in between, so I just introduce myself, and this is the church where I work in. And my topic today for England from Indian perspective, and when I was doing my English literature in St. Saviour's, we are always had a nightmare when we were taught in the paper She and Hell. She is, all of you know, social history of England, and Hell is the one history of English literature. But whenever we had come across that topics, we were kind of we were out of this place because we don't have the background. But now when I am in London, when I witness whatever I have studied, whatever I am applying it now, it becomes more vivid, and I am really enjoying my stay there, and also I am relishing my memory as a English student, English literature student. And so in my presentation, kind of a history will be little bit involved, and of course my presentation will be Indian point of view, as well as since I have done my bachelor's in English, and I am also planning to pursue my master's and doctorate in London in English. I also will be touching upon literature a little bit, and kind of some reflection over Indian England relationship, and how we need to respond to this kind of attitude. So again, I remember the days of my English literature. In the first year, in the first semester, whenever a professor comes to a class, immediately the first question he asks or she asks is, what is literature? And immediately everyone, our Professor Ochrim had taught us, literature is the mirror of life. So that word imprinted on me, and that is definitely literature. English literature definitely is a mirror of life and a society. Most of us enjoy a good read, whether it is a novel that moves us to tears, a play that intrigues, or a poem that rouses our passion. A piece of well-written literature can have an impact on our emotions, on our behavior, and on our value system. And so literature is important for our life. It reflects our life itself. Many of the, even our freedom fight started with this literature books and writings by our eminent authors in India, especially in our southern India, Bharati. All these people, they started with their writings. That is the, I have given a picture over there. That's the thing about books. They let you travel without moving your feet. This is the reality, and so literature is definitely a mirror of life. And England and literature, how it is connected. It showcases different kinds of culture and events around the world. In particular, the literature of England, or British literature, refers to literature associated with the literatures from England, North Ireland, Scotland and Wales. You will be wondering what is the rest of the two, but when we are dealing with the United Kingdom, you will understand it better. England became the source point for many writers, back from Charles Dickens, William Shakespeare, romantic writers like Wordsworth, Shelley and Coleridge. So England is England and English literature is intertwined, it cannot be separated. And I live in London. I cherish each time I come across, I visit different places, because it's definitely every nook and corner you can witness something which is related to literature. For example, Globe Theatre, William Shakespeare born at Stratford, still Globe Theatre, to flourish that Globe Theatre, that Shakespeare was a eminent person who is a writer and an actor in that theatre, which is in London. Thames River, it is not only economically, it is sustainable for London, but also literature, it has more effective parts that Thames River has. That's why T.S. Eliot rightly sings, "Sweet Thames, run softly till I end my song. Sweet Thames, run softly, for I speak not loud or long." So Thames River is always a part of lifeline of poetry as well as English literature. London and literature, also we can recollect on Charles Dickens calls London as a magic lantern. He creates his successful novels like Oliver Twist, Pickwick Papers, Little Dorrit. All these characters he creates from this London. It's not merely a setting, but also it creates the characters of Charles Dickens. And Barry writes his Peter Pan series in Kensington Garden of London. One could cherish the Baker Street station where Sherlock Holmes Museum was located here. London definitely like a heaven for literary lovers. Wherever you go, it will have an implication. Even a small street will have an implication for people of English literature. And this place is really an important place for every one of us literature student, because Westminster Abbey, here only coronation ceremony of royal family. Regarding royal family, we may not be aware of it. I will introduce you in course of time. Westminster Abbey, here only coronation ceremony takes place, as well as William Blake. Many of the eminent writers, English literature writers, has been buried here, and their monuments are there. The below one is Shakespeare's monument in that wonderful place. I have visited that place. It's really wonderful. Everybody worth watching in a lifetime. As well, now I began to connect India with England or UK in large. India and UK are bound by strong ties of history and culture. At the height of its glory, the British Empire encompassed nearly a quarter of Earth's landmass and a quarter of its population. When they were in a high realm, they were in a utter dominance of all its possessions. They have taken properties and things from different colonies, including India. Spices, they came for trade, and then so many other things also involved. None was more precious than India, the jewel in the crown of Victoria's empire. Even now, the Elizabeth II also having the crown, where the diamond from India is still the prime stone in the crown of the Queen. This relationship between India and UK has been beautifully described by James Morris. He says, India was different in kind from the rest of the empire. Though the British Empire has colonized many countries, India is always unique for British for so long that it had become part of the national consciousness, so immense that it really formed with Britain itself. India meant something to everybody, not only for Britain but for everyone, but especially for Britain. From the Queen herself, India was the brightest gem, the Raj, distant relative. The destinies of the two countries seemed not merely intertwined but indissoluble. It is not merely by accident, it is intertwined, but it can never be destroyed. That's what the word indissoluble means. And this is me with my professor Nishant and my friend, and which is on the back side is a Buckingham Palace where Elizabeth II lives. And Kohinoor is the mountain of light, which is called, it's the largest cut diamond in the world, and it is from India, and it is in the crown of the Queen Elizabeth. Of course, we feel really angry because we lost something, yet the people who rule the world is having the possession of India as the main, because they consider us and our properties as something close to them. And this is what I try to say. I am also not for Queen having our diamond with her, still we bear it. India shares an enriched literature, language, ethnic, geographical and historical identities around the world, and especially in England. And here now I try to connect how the England writers and the literature authors, they had a idea of India, how they were connected with India. To his coy mistress, Andrew Marvell, one of the beautiful poems I really cherished, how he is able to express his feelings in words beautifully. In that he beautifully says, had we but world enough and time, he is perceiving his coy mistress to have a love making with him. During that time he says, lady, were no crime, we would sit down and think which way to walk and pass our long lost day. Thou by the Indian Ganges side shouldst rubies find, which means for them India is a wealthy country where rubies are simply available in the Ganges. That is what they were thinking. Of course, some of the foreigners, they had a misunderstanding, prejudice by saying India is the country of poor and snakes. But the poets, they had a different outlook. They thought it as a very rich and flourishing country. As well, when we come to Shakespeare, one of my favorites, Shakespeare was not a traveler. He has never visited India. Still, he had an idea about India. He is using the words Ind, Indi, India, Indias, Indian to refer to a country fabulously rich. Even for Shakespeare, India is a rich country, very prosperous country. That's why in King Henry VI, in Act 3, Scene 1, he says, my crown is in my heart, not on my head, not decked with the diamonds and Indian stones. I don't know whether the queen had read this and he had taken the stone of us. Still, Shakespeare is already, because before the East Indian Company arrived, Shakespeare has lived and gone. And in Midsummer's Night Dream, India appears in this play as a land of gold and sunshine. And when we come to a romantic poet, Shelley, India always excited an attraction by its mythology, especially Bhagavad Gita. I think there is scholars say that Shelley definitely had read Bhagavad Gita, and he considered India as a planet of imagination. It is purely visible that Antonius, a death elegy to John Keats, and Hellas has a strong echoes of Bhagavad Gita. He talks all his mythological source he takes all his mythological sources from Indian literature to his Prometheus Unbound. and in that mostly he borrows from Bhagavad Gita, which means already the English people had a touch with our own culture, our own tradition, our own writings, and they were able to apply and produce in their own terms. Also William Wordsworth, when concordance to the poems of William Wordsworth written by Lane Cooper, he says almost there are hundreds of references to India in Wordsworth writings. India's Indian, Hindu, Ganges, Bombay, East, Eastern, Oriental, Rajput, Raja, Maharaja, Bengal. These are all some of the references in William Wordsworth works. One of them is, then as the Hindus draw their holy Ganges from the sky found, like Ganges to make part of living ocean. It is from extract from William Wordsworth. Having said that, I have talked to you about all these connections, not simply to compare English literature with their knowledge of India, but how they were able to take what is good in us. Also, I like to apply that with the present context. Now, this is the census in 2011. Definitely, as in the introduction Bhubadi said, in 2021, the in that sense, our number will be little higher. Still, I will present what was the census of 2011. White British in UK, in England, 87.1%, and Asian British who already got their residence in UK, in England, Indians are 2.3% of the entire population, that is 14,51,862 in 2011. And Pakistan people also are in high number, 1.9, and English people are 3%, who have already gone even before all these things had happened. And in total percentage of Asians in England is 7%, which is really a very high number, which means India has a great influence. There are many members of the parliament are Indians, Indian origin. The mayors were Indians. There are many political figures and very many writers are from India. There is a greater influence India is making in England, especially in London, lot more. Because mostly we are staying in London as a doctors, or most of the white collar jobs are by Indians and Pakistanis and some Chinese of course. And this is the chart in which I have said in England, who have once ruled us, now we are members of their clan, which is really an appreciable one, and which means we have something, we need to have a larger balance now. And this is about religion, don't mistake me, yet this will also give us some more details about what is in our present situation in UK. Christianity in 2001, 71%, 71.7, but it is reducing, it is dwindling. Definitely in 2021, even the number will go down, but no religion is increasing as well. There is steady progress of Hinduism as well as Islam, which are the religions that we have. Which means now our culture, our attitude, our learnings, our traditions are becoming very popular over there. It is no longer a country of Christianity. If it is a country of Christianity, it has to flourish, but it is definitely dwindling. Of course, I'm also working there. It's a sad scenario, but it's okay. It is people's freedom that they choose it, we cannot force. But I'm just bringing this chart so that you can understand how our culture, our tradition is accepted now, and even the same with the Sikhism and Buddhism, it is gradually increasing than decreasing like Christianity. And these are all some of the religious places, and Canterbury Cathedral, Westminster Abbey, and the center one is where I am working. Still we have enough faithful, so thanks. I have work still. And then Wembley, London, it's a Hindu temple, a beautiful temple, and it is accepted. Now they also learn like us religious tolerance, and it's wonderful. In Woking, Surrey, we have a beautiful mosque, and this is how religion and UK people and the people are accepting the religion, and our culture, our tradition has a role. And also yoga is very prevalent over there. Now I start teaching in our school. It's a Christian Catholic school. Still they accept yoga. Their parents are happy. Definitely church never allows, but since it is a school, I have been teaching, I enjoy and they enjoy, the staff are really enjoying it. And now, having said that, I have given you some background about UK through literature, how literature people or writers of England are very much interested in India, as well as how we and England are connected in a way or other. Now I am going to give you raw details about England, which will be helpful for you when you study or when you teach the social history of England, as well as history of English literature. Of course, it will be of old, but I just give you a common and the present scenario of UK. And it's a very basic one. Still it need to be known. I just thought, because even we sometimes confuse with that. Definitely I have been confusing about it once I reached London, and then I got cleared. And UK is not equal to England. UK is something is little different from England, because UK is United Kingdom made up of 4 countries: England, Scotland, Wales and North Ireland. And Great Britain is not equal to UK, rather it's an island situated off the northwest coast of Europe. It's a landmass. It's not like UK, it's not a name, it's a landmass. It is known as Great because it is the largest island in the British Isles. As well, nearby in France also there is one more island, namely Brittany. That's why not to confuse, they have brought Great Britain, but still now English people, they proudly say that we are Great Britons. Like let them say it. We also can say Great Indians. Now England, of course, a country within UK. Now you understand the difference between UK and England. England is part of UK, and UK is not completely England. It is UK has England in it, but of course majority the decisions and the rulers are from England, and the royal family is from England, and its capital, both the capitals for UK as well as for England, the capital is London, where I stay, where I cherish, where I enjoy. And England, as I said, it's a raw information which will be useful for you. If it is a repetitive, I'm sorry, just to hold on for a while and you will enjoy a lot more to come. UK, an island of Great Britain, the northwest part of island of Ireland, and many smaller islands, as I have told you. The name England is derived from the Old English name England, which means land of the Angles. It's not angels, it's Angles, one of the Germanic tribes that settled in Great Britain during early Middle Ages. The governance which every one of us need to know, especially the people of literature, because it is our next home kind of English literature. Means we, even though we have not visited England, we have read and we have enjoyed, we have cherished the life of England and their culture through our literature, because literature talks about life. And the governance, the basic political system in England is a constitutional monarchy, which may be a new word for some of them, and a parliamentary system. Major parties are Conservative Party and Labour Party, and especially now you must remember Conservative Party. The Prime Minister Boris Johnson is from Conservative Party. They have a majority in Parliament. Now they can do whatever they want, but I hope to have a better governance from him. As I have told, it may be a new concept for some of you. Constitutional monarchy is a form of government in which a non-elected monarch functions as the head of the state within the limits of constitution. Like United Kingdom, Canada, Sweden and Japan has the same type. And political power in the constitutional monarchy is shared between the monarch and the organized government, such as British Parliament. Is a opposite of an absolute. It's not an absolute monarchy. Constitutional monarchy is not an absolute monarchy. Absolute monarchy, some of the examples are Vatican City, where Pope resides, our head, Brunei, Switzerland, Saudi Arabia and Oman are absolute monarchy. There is no organized government, but government and monarchy is the same over there. Constitutional monarchy, even the royal family abide by some of the rules of the government, but of course it is understandable, but even in that we have a I'm sorry, I am getting a crosstalk. It's okay, I just go on. I hope somebody's mic is on. Please turn it off. Thank you. Anyway, I'm a little lost. Still I will come back. In the constitution, but in England it's a beautiful thing, since it is Queen Elizabeth II. She is really awesome. To improve our English, Queen Elizabeth's language is so powerful, she is so strong, her language is impeccable. Everybody can listen to her and improve our language through her. It's a beautiful, like I have given the picture. This is the time when they formed the parliament. Immediately the Queen and her son Philip, I guess, I'm sorry if I'm wrong, they come and they give a talk. And this is a beautiful thing. Even in YouTube you can have a look. You can just search Elizabeth in the parliament or Elizabeth's speech in the parliament. It's something different. It's a beautiful thing to experience. And I'm sorry, it may be for some professors it may be something odd still, which I found as an Indian in England, is the weather, and especially the temperature is 0 degree, and a high temperature only a few days it lasts, 32 it comes, so don't think that it has a beautiful summer. But I would honestly say summer is better than winter. Sometimes when I am here, by seeing the hot weather, I used to think, if I were in England or in US, I'll be very happy because I can bear the cold than this heat. But to be honest, after going there, I accept my defeat by acknowledging that summer is better than winter. It's really dead cold. Now I understand Shakespeare better. And this is a huge variation and day-night differences. And like in our place, the difference in the weather is a very in the day night difference is so different. Now it sets, the darkness comes around 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the night, and it dawn will be around kind of 5 o'clock around, no, I am sorry, 3 o'clock. So the day is longer and night is shorter, so it is something something weird, but still we have to adjust. And rainfall also, sometime it will be summer, everybody is happy to go to the park and enjoy their life, but when rain comes, everything stops, stands still, because it is too cold, you cannot trench in the rain. That's the reason why I have given it's a small exploration. That's why they have a poem, rain, rain, go away. But I do sympathize with our people. Still we also recite the same by saying rain, rain, go away. For them definitely rain has to go away during summer, but for us we need rain. Still we are chasing the rain out. And if winter comes, can spring be far behind? One of my words whenever I am in struggle, I always used to say these words, Shelley's words, Ode to the West Wind. Now you can understand, winter is something very hard. Can spring be far behind? Kind of a beautiful word now I can experience. And of course, Shakespeare also, winter and coldness of it are always negative in Shakespeare. His summer and springs are joyous and life affirming. Autumn for him is a mixture of sadness and beauty. And now when you know the climate of England, and you can understand Shakespeare or any of the writers, especially romantic writers, better, because winter, which is we have no longer experienced. For us, cold is something beautiful, very pleasant, but over there, cold is a biting cold. It's like if a dog bites, the same, literally it will be of the same. In the beginning I had a very big struggle, because morning it will be good, we will go for traveling, and then in between it will be severe cold and you will struggle like anything. It will be a hell, like experiencing hell on earth. And the same thing, Shakespeare is always strong with his words. Barren winter with his wrathful nipping cold bites and blows upon my body. I shrinks with cold. What freezing I have felt, what dark days seen, what old December barrenness everywhere. See the words, very strong, very lifeless, very hopeless words that Shakespeare is using. That strong is the winter, but in London winter is little less. Still, winter is something new to us as an Indian. And transport, it is just for your information, airport, everyone knows, and the rail transport, over there we call it tube, T-U-B-E, and trams, you would heard about it. Trams is something which runs in the road. When there is no tram, the bus can travel in the same road, but it's a beautiful one. And then bus, double-decked bus is something which is very unique in UK. Very beautiful system they have. And new thing, Boris Johnson, only when he was a mayor, he made this beautiful idea, the cycle route he has made. And also, since it's an island, they have a transport through port, and ferries are available, and pedestrians are given much importance. And so you will be very happy when you walk on the road. If somebody hits, they are gone and their license will be cancelled. There is a huge respect for pedestrian, and like over here we need to learn from them, especially the transport. That's why I have given. And this is James this is myself, and tube, I really enjoy traveling there. And health department, also just for your awareness, in health, Britain, there is a state funded system. Of course, the tax is paid by the people, but the National Health Service is guaranteeing treatment for everyone. Of course, it has its own defects. because old people mostly they occupy the places in the beds. Sometimes you may not get places inside, you will not get the treatment well, but there is assurance for everyone. Everyone will get assurance of your treatment. And there are GP outside. You must first consult with the GP. Only if it is emergency, immediately you will be admitted in the hospital. But health department, why I have mentioned is, health department is a government one. Unlike our government hospitals, private hospitals are famous here. Over there, government hospitals are very famous. Hardly few private hospitals, and that's it. Health department, education. Under 16, they must get education. It's a mandatory. It's a beautiful one. And this is my ministry in the hospital. I was working in a Croydon University Hospital as a chaplain. And I really cherish going to the people and visiting them. And this is a beautiful lady. She is a sister, very committed, in her late 80s. She works diligently. If you are dare enough, you can start walking with her. You will feel tired before her. She is very committed. She is going to get a national health award, some awards, I don't know the name. And this is one of the clips from a hospital. Hardly we cannot take many pictures in the common places. That's why I could not produce many of my own pictures. I have borrowed it from Google. And this is the UK education system. And we in our church, we have a primary education, a primary school. There they don't say it's standard, but they call it year 1, year 2, up to year 6 is primary education, up to year 11 is secondary education, and further education is year 12 and 13. And I have a beautiful experience in the primary education. Their transport and their education system, we need to learn from them. If not other things, economically, of course, some people will have a higher regards for them, but I have my own reservation. We have a sustainable development, but if they just go by the corporates, and if something is wrong with the governance, then they are gone. I don't agree with that. Even our government also, I don't want to talk about politics, still our government also trying to imbibe those systems which is not really good. In the recession time we experienced, when Manmohan Singh was our prime minister, in recession time everyone was struggling, but India was not at all struggling because of our sustainable, and in Tamil we say Tacharbu Poruladaram, like farming, like fishing, like a small scale business. We need to appreciate, and we need to support them. Otherwise we are going to stuck somewhere. Like in COVID-19 time we experienced it. We need to reflect over it. Education system, definitely we need to follow UK. And this is one of the schools I work in as a chaplain, and this is Philomena Catholic School for girls. I go for mass and confessions, and really it's challenging. They are so advanced, and sometimes we will be challenged easily. And there are children, still they are so developed. And this is my favorite school, St. James the Great, and it is our school. These are all our children. I really love them so much. And this is me teaching them yoga. I have mentioned in the beginning, I'm a yogacharya. I was teaching them yoga, and they are really enjoy yoga. For the children, you can read it in their newsletter, they get it. We don't get their picture normally. We cannot take their picture because their rights, and especially children right, is so strong, and if anything you are gone. It is better to die than caught up in any of these issues. So it is I have taken it from their PDF. So it is it is a wonderful thing. And what I learned from the education system, I observed them closely. I really enjoyed. I always worried why our system is not the same. And especially you may be a professor, or you are going to be a teacher, English literature, definitely you will be a writer, or else you are going to apt out this teaching profession. They in UK, and especially in the school where I am in, they are given priorities, more activities and varieties of activities. They don't get tired, not like feeding so many informations, but they learn by themselves. You can see if it is in our place, they are year 3, year 4 people, and holding basic things, but it is admired. If it is the same way it is drawn here, we are going to throw it out by saying your project is not good. They do not carry their bags and books home. That is surprising for me. This, especially primary children, they leave their things over here, and 1 or 2 only the handbook they are taking, and their snacks box. It's really eye-opening for me why we are torturing our children. Education is something need to be, it has to come from within, and it need to we need to learn it with interest and not by force. Project works their own work. I always insist, even when I was here, I used to insist the same. We need to accept what they are. We should not impose our own in them. We must make them flourish by their own uniqueness. Then only we will get creative people in the future. Respecting their uniqueness, everyone is considered. Unlike here, last bench, we don't, if a few are giving an answer, we are happy with that. No, everyone, even if they are slow learners, they have a special teacher. Always they sit with them and they encourage until they understand. Nobody is moving. Also, the children, they learn their tolerance. They have to stay until the child understand things. So activities I learned, and they do their own projects which we need to learn, as well as up to year 16, age 16, they must have a schooling. So it is very mandatory, and government takes care of everything. And Indian students want to study abroad. Currently, so I have given you some gist, and in which transport, health and education we need to consider a little more. And in that, Indian students mostly they come to abroad with a scholarship. Those who come by scholarship, they really are gifted. They can only focus on their studies. But today I supposed to have 2 Indian students who are working in studying, and as well as working in UK in London, to have a dialogue with you, but unfortunately they have a shift as well as college. And if they were in India, definitely they would have bunked the college, or else they would have given excused from their work, and they would have definitely joined us. But they have not done it, precisely because once they go to abroad, they become very hardworking. I am really surprised. They go to the college, as well as 8 hours of every day they go for part time. Though only 20 hours weekly part time job is available, they go for off license. Don't tell it to any government officials. There are ways they get a job, because they need to have money for their payment, as well as for their residence, their food. Really they are working very hard. So currently India is only second to China in terms of international student enrollment in schools across the globe. Every year thousands of students from India leave their home country to fulfill their dreams of study abroad. Why do they want to go to abroad for studies? Studying abroad will help you stay ahead of the students who opted to stay at home and study, because even I was faced with this challenge. I have done my MA in philosophy, theology, and a bachelor's in English, as well as I had my own priestly studies. Still, these children could challenge us better. And when you are with that kind of environment, definitely your system, your advanced with the knowledge. So definitely you are going to stay ahead of the students in India. One of the biggest advantage of studying abroad is your language skill. Definitely you are going to improve your language, and because like you would have heard about a wolf man, where when a baby, I don't know how it got into that, along with the wolves, a baby was growing, and after 10 or 15 years, even the human eyes were shining like animals. In darkness, we can say greenish eyes, shining eyes in the animals. The same thing was happening with the wolfman. It's the same thing. A human has the capacity to adapt to any situation. Like, if a baby is born in Tamil Nadu with the Tamil people, they are going to speak Tamil spontaneously. If they are going to Maharashtra, they are brought up there, they are going to speak Marathi well, Marathi as well as Hindi well. The same way, when you are with the people of English, your language skill is going to definitely improve. An international bachelor degree is considered something higher. Your job surety is there. Companies consider international exposure as an important factor. And finally, when you study abroad, you will most likely become friends with people of that land. And now it's a time for shows. Kind of, because I also enjoyed, so I thought it would be nice if you also see this. If you see in all the street views, the windows are glass, definitely, because it's a winter time, you will struggle. Inside we have air conditioner, instead they will be having a heater. So without heater you cannot sleep at home. And mostly the houses will be of the similar type. Unlike our place, one will be five-story building, and then immediately there were slums. No, regular, because the municipality takes care of it. You cannot extend your things, as well as you will have a back garden in each house. It's really beautiful to see and beautiful to live. My house is also the same, and I always enjoyed a churchyard, especially country churchyard. Being a priest, I always go for funerals in London cemetery. Over there, whenever I go, I am reminded of an elegy written in a country churchyard by Thomas Gray. I love that poem completely. If you have not gone across, read it, please do it. The boast of hereditary, the palms of power, and all that beauty, all the wealth ever gave, awaits alike the inevitable hour. The paths of glory lead but to the grave. Which means, even if you are a professor, even if you are a Ambani or Adani or a Prime Minister of India, all are going to reach the same place, the same 6 feet and 3 feet wide. It's a beautiful poem. Whenever I go, I really reminded of this as a literature student. Definitely, when you are in England, definitely every corner is a great expectation. Or Charles Dickens and the idea about chimney sweeper. Every house will have a chimney, and you can see a chimney over here. So every house, if you see, every house has a chimney, and so that every concept, it lingers in me whenever I travel, London or England in general. If you are a literature student, you are going to cherish those places. And the woods are also very beautiful. Robert Frost, the woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. On my day off, I used to go for hiking. It's just outskirts of London, there are beautiful woods, and you can really enjoy. If you are reading the poems, especially romantic poets' poem in this kind of wood, you are going to cherish. And London Bridge, where T.S. Eliot had his own inspiration. Many of his writings are on the, he says, if I am sitting near the London Bridge, some content it emerges for me. It's a simple poem. London Bridge is falling down, London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. Okay, so London Bridge is something very eminent for literature student as well as for them. Twice or thrice they had a terrorist attack, but all of the time it got escaped, and still it's a beautiful monument. Nearby there is a castle also. It's beautiful to watch. And swam in Bartholomew's Edmund Spenser. We are taught by Professor Ocherium. I always enjoyed it, but during that time the imagination which I had was kind of different from the swan I have seen there. With that I saw two swans of goodly hue come softly swimming down along the lea, two fairer birds I yet did never see. So kind of, everything, wherever I go I just connect with them. And so, there are places where literature, people's places are there, and you can theaters are there, and many ponds, and with the swan, and countryside, large scale of countryside you can really enjoy. We need to sometime visit UK. And some reflections, and it may not be pertaining to English literature, but I just felt whenever I am in UK, I just had this thought. England is famous for its long history, royal family, castles, historical houses, educational institutions like Oxford. I'm sorry I didn't mention them. William Shakespeare, its green hills and fertile lowlands, rain and lush green of its countryside, its creams and butter for its delicious cheese, and its strawberry. I also had an opportunity to pluck strawberries and have a tea. Yet we have our own identity, our own uniqueness. Indians in UK, they work very hard. Our students, even they are rich or poor, somehow they reach England, and the way they work, really I always think, if that same hard work, if our students apply it here, we are going to be the superpower, and especially intellectually. We just take our life, our climate, everything for granted. That is really bitter bitter truth that we have. East or west, home is the best. It's not whoever is in abroad, they are happy, but still they are pushed to be in that situation, because in a way, even for me, my Tamil Nadu, my India is better than UK, because even first primary is the climate. We have a beautiful, even without shirt we can go, but over there it's not possible, as well as you don't have day and night sequence regularly as we are having. If you are having when you go to bed, if you sleep without any struggle, that is the beauty of life. Well, that you have it here. Darkness for 12 hours, over there they don't have it. Even it's the smallest one still, and our family system is so beautiful, but they struggle with that, and even when they are old, they are not able to live with their family. Most of them are going to care homes, which is really a pathetic truth. And in my own language, ennavalam illai இந்த திருநாட்டில் ஏன் கையை ஏந்த வேண்டும் வெளிநாட்டில் ஒழுங்காய் பாடுபடு வயல் காட்டில் உன் மதிப்பு உயரும் அயல் நாட்டில். One of the British historians says many of the advantages in science that we consider today to have been made in Europe were in fact made in India centuries ago. We have a long beautiful history, beautiful tradition, beautiful culture. Still this England and US is only 1,000 years old, but we have many thousands of years old, and our literatures are 4,000, 5,000 before we had our own grammar. If we are able to have a grammar, in Tamil we have Tolkappiyam. They say around 2000 BC, means in Tamil we have Kaldondri, Mandondra, Kalatte, Mundondri, Muthakudi, Tamil Kudi. Kind of, we had our own grammars even before they constituted their own country. But now we are fascinated about them, then relishing our own country, our own language. They speak, if you go to France, even if they know English, they don't speak in English, they speak only in French. In Germany the same, everywhere the same, except in our country we feel ashamed of speaking our own language. As well as unity in diversity is superb, and we need to adapt, and we need to accept our beauty, our richness. As well, this is one of the things we need to, I'm sorry if I'm wrong, as an English literature student we must understand English is not a knowledge, it's a language. Hindi is not a patriotism, Tamil is not a pride, it is all just a language. Hamid Sabir, I don't know, he has written beautifully. And especially if you feel proud of your English, you speak good English, and you feel ashamed of the person, and you look at somebody lower, I would bluntly say, in London, in my house, the toilet cleaner speaks better English than me even. So you just consider about yourself. So I think even it is their language. We don't need to cherish by saying that I speak good English. It's not our identity. It's merely a language to express ourselves. So our mother tongue is always good. And science and arts, I am also an art student, so I always go side with the science student, arts. We are supposed to be the voice of the voiceless. Through me the dumb shall speak, till the deaf world's ears be made to hear. So we are art students, we always listen to the emotions and the heart of the people and struggle of the people, be it in India, be it anywhere. Our writing has to be the voice of the voiceless. Bloomsbury Group, you may be aware of it. They are intellectual writers, philosophers from University of Cambridge and King's College, who came together to voice out the voiceless. Had a great impact on politics in UK. So you also, as an English professor or a student, art students always go with the heart than mind or head. So let us make the change of what is possible by us. So thank you, and I hope I have done justice to my topic, and if you have any doubt you can say. Yes. Yes. Yes, please. Yeah, please go on. Yep. Yes. Yep. May I know your name? Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Giri Kumar, I am happy that you have asked this question, but I do wonder, this is not the right place to discuss about it, but definitely I can give you a short answer. I have an experience of speaking or relating with everyone over there. Like in India, we have a beautiful tolerance over religion over there, and so I think we don't need to talk about religion. Even here I have come as a English literature student and a person living in London than so-called priest. So that's why yoga, everything is, I am teaching it as a professor in a master of yoga, then I don't have my religion. So I think if it is about their religion, I can talk about it, but now it is not the place to talk about religion. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Go on. Go on.
My question is, what are the objectives play a role in the American literature, and what is the distinction between Indian literature and American literature?
What has to do with my topic?
Because you are full prejudice in London, no, sir?
Yes, because that is what my topic is all about. Because I don't have an experience of America. Definitely I have my bachelor's in English, but it doesn't mean that I need to be well versed. If somebody, even Professor Bhubadi can help you out with American literature, but as far as I am concerned, America is 500 years old and their literature is a diaspora literature, and so it may not be completely, it is culture oriented, tradition oriented. Mostly it will be of, with the time, they travel with the time. So I'm not having deeper knowledge about it because I have not done my master's. I'm going to pursue, and I have done this session by with the intention that you understand England better in order to understand the literature better. Okay, thank you. You can, yes, Giri, Dr. Giri, I can send, since, see, actually this session is not regarding religion, so that is what I also said. So we don't need to talk about religion here, but on the whole, as I have told, many of them are listening, it's mostly, tolerance on religion and tolerance on race is very high over there. They accept everybody, especially in London. As well, I have heard about, countryside, some resistance will be there. Once you are good, then they begin to, treat you well and they behave very well. And so that's it. Religion wise, I don't want to talk here because this is purely academical. So I hope you understand, Dr. Giri. Yeah. Yes. 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 Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good question, and as I have told you, first of all, climate, and first, I am a church father, and let us keep all those things aside. Still, these English people, they don't relate with you immediately, but they observe, and once you are good, they begin to talk to you. And going from India, I am also from Tamil Nadu. When I had gone there, first was everything was completely new. The advancement in their infrastructure and even traveling by bus. We supposed to use a Oyster card. There is a card, and I don't know, maybe cities will be having it. Even from there, from the scratches I developed. Even every one of us, in the students also have the same difficulties. but as well as in their language. Though I did my studies in Pune, I know English, but when you go there, the language that they speak with their local accent is completely different from what we speak. So most of the time what I used to do is, when they talk in the beginning, I was simply blinking, and then I said yes in the place where I have to say no. As well, one more difficulty which I faced was, everything is self-responsible. Even cooking we have to do, and I have learned cooking, fish curry alone, and slowly I am learning it. And everything they do it by themselves, plumbing and everything. They have every kit, and they do it self-sufficient. Like kind of that also lead them to individual life. We are mostly of community oriented, but over there everything is individual. Even if it is husband and wife, sometimes they cook separately, or as a priest I need to cook separately. So all these things, as well their infrastructure, their language, all those things was a difficulty that I faced. I have not gone to the university yet. This year I am going, so if we have a future talk, then I can share with you regarding that. Thank you. Welcome. Yeah. Yes, please go on. I hope it is not having anything to do. Okay. Yeah. Yes, please. Yes. Yeah. Yes. You are. What's your name, please? Okay. Yeah, Muhammad Khan, Dr. Muhammad Khan, I am really, you are so nice, and that is what the anguish that I am also having it. The major thing that we need to pray, or I am sorry, not pray, just we need to wish our governance has to come into life. It's not by, it's little bit of politics. This is the anguish everyone is having. Even not everybody is willing to stay in UK or US or in, they want to come back, but they don't have the surety of the job. They don't have the surety of life here. So we can make the difference. We are the staff, and we can encourage our students. Let them work hard. When they come to UK, they work really hard, and their innovative ideas are so high. Many of the white collar jobs like teachers, engineers, doctors in UK are Indians, and they are working really hard. But why we are not applying it when we are here, including me? So like Dr. Khan had said, it can be a thought for our day. Why can't I make my country better? Yeah, we can definitely make it happen. So I also, we try to, whatever we make it, like a doctoral studies, we can, as we write it in English, even we ourselves, we can translate it in our own language, so that our people, those who don't know English, also able to do that. Many of the countries do it. First of all, when we start our research paper with our own language, definitely that leads to the higher level. Research itself means discovering, and we are taking our idea into higher realm. So the same thing we can do it as an English literature student, and we can translate many of their work into our own language. That is fine. And it is always, India is unity and not uniformity. That also we need to understand. Thank you.
Just one point comment to start a question that we should
Yeah.
whatever you plan, I want to enjoy in my life.
Yes.
That's the problem, I think.
Yeah, it's super. Even that is our with our governance also. We also only focused on, a single day of the amount they pay as a political leaders. We need to aim high. Let's trust for the better future with a better governance in our India, in our states. Let the political leaders or of committed people come in and then work for us. We also work with them. We don't swayed away by our emotions or our own laziness. Let us work hard. Yeah, over to Professor.